What is happening, you guys? Welcome back to a Tuesday tune-up on the Let's Go Win podcast, where we are here to help you be happy, healthy, wealthy, and get better every single day. We're going to be focusing on one of my favorite subjects, and that's really having a winning mindset. And the gentleman I'm bringing on, that's something he's passionate about. I'm passionate about it, so we're going to have a fun conversation. Luke
Awesome.
Rossmo lives the life he wants to live. He has a beautiful business, gets to work with incredible people, writes music, plays music, and has a beautiful son and fulfilling relationship. He lives where he wants, travel when he wants, and Luke's businesses don't run him. He has the time and space to do the things that are most important to him. Sounds like you're living the perfect life there, brother. You're definitely happy, healthy, wealthy. I love it, man.
It's beautiful because it hasn't always been this way, and so the contrast is highlights even more just how amazing my day to day is and how fortunate I am. So just it wasn't always like this. I spent most of my life losing in every way you could conceive. So it's been a welcome change.
Was there a specific transformational moment or time that you can pinpoint, or what was it for you, Luke, where you're like, yep, this is like, I wasn't winning, I was actually losing, and now I'm able to live this incredible life?
Yeah, there's a moment and then a journey. So, you know those movies where the character has like their breakthrough moment, and then it's like flash forward 6 months, and that character is living like their dream life. Yeah, mine was like 8 years. So my moment, man, got the guitar behind me. I love playing music. Spent most of my life not playing music, just terrified to be on a stage, period, like any stage in front of anybody. It's the thing that I wanted to do most in the world. And so at 28 years old, I jumped on stage for the first time. It was the scariest thing that I could possibly fathom. And being on the other side of that fear really let me see that I'm okay. I can do that. And it really started to open up my world to like, what else can I do? What else am I capable of? And, I started to move through all of these layers of limitation and self doubt and fear and constraint, and just testing that as often as I could. And it's funny when you do that, your life gets bigger. You meet people like you, and now you're having a conversation. It's just kind of all magical.
Yeah, I have a saying, and what I'm really hearing is, so fear was really kind of running your life, and
Yeah.
then you took some courage. And like I said, courage is like a muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I really heard. I don't know that I have a question, or maybe it's just clearly music was a jumping off point for you. But what allowed you to really harness that fear and say, you know what, this is bullshit, man. Like, I want to live the life I want to live, and I'm not going to let this fear run me anymore. How did you make such a significant radical shift? Because I imagine people listening are like, yeah, man, I have some of those things going on too. I don't want to be run by fear any longer.
Yeah. So fear's really really interesting. First of all, it's there for a reason. It's there to keep you safe, keep you comfortable, and that just means for us in our modern day, keep you stuck in the same old, same old. So your brain doesn't care about the things you want to do, the achievements that you want to have, the relationship, the wealth, the happiness, even. If it means staying stuck, your brain would rather be unhappy and stuck than stepping out into the unknown. And so, recognizing that that's really the function of fear, we can start to change our relationship to it. So, fear, it's like, well, be afraid, stay back. And when you really see it for what it is, it becomes this invitation. It becomes an invitation to explore your comfort zone, start to push against it. And like you said, you do have to flex that courage muscle to start to gain confidence. And the first time you do it is the hardest. And I went after kind of like my big dragon first, which was being on stage. That led to starting a business and then another business, having a kid, moving across the country. But you really have to find your thing, the thing that's unique to you, and move towards that. And when you do that the first time and you're on the other side, well, you've turned that courage, it's transmutated into confidence. And you will have that with you forever, and you can take the next step. Um, so, fear is an invitation to grow. And that's why we're here. We're here to grow. I got this funny tree behind me. My business is called Deep Roots. The idea is growth. I truly believe that we're here to grow, and fear is the invitation, your unique call to what will help you grow the most, and you will find joy and happiness on the other side of that.
Yeah, I love the name of the your company because literally when I have somebody stuck, I actually did this with a client last week, and I said, "Hey, man, I want you to go outside. I want you to find a tree and legitimately just root yourself down next to that tree, ground yourself
Mhm.
into Mother Nature." And I said, "You'll be shocked at what kind of answers come." Sure enough, he texts me. He's like, "Why does that work? I don't understand." I'm like, "Dude, the most powerful energy in the world legitimately is Mother Nature." So,
Yeah.
is that why Deep Roots, brother, or is there something more to the name of the company?
Um, so I'm writing. I've been writing a book for a while, and it's called The Language of Growth. And what does nature do? It just grows. It blooms and blossoms and grows, and eventually withers and dies. And so I think what you said about Mother Nature and sort of what it is applies to us humans. I love the connection of trees. I personally like adore trees, but simply because of what they embody in terms of nature, the that growth and blooming and the branches that come off and the leaves off the branches, and um, the thing that separates us from nature, the only thing is our mind, and the mind is so easily rooted in fear and doubt and insecurity, and so we're unique from nature in that way. And once we learn to move through those things, drop those things, then we're free to grow the way that the rest of the natural world does. So, all of those reasons and the reasons that you mentioned, man, as the reason for deep roots and the connection with Mother Nature.
Yeah, I love it. So let's talk about
Yeah.
some actual tangible tips for audience members listening. Because look, I'm sure you still wake up with fears. I'm sure they come across. I have them all the time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean it's going to go away. Like you tackled this
No,
dragon one time and they're never coming back. That's not the way it works. So let's
no.
talk, Luke, about some of the things that you do to
Yeah.
really push back on the fear, overcome these fears, let
Yeah.
fear know that it's not going to debilitate you, keep you from acquiring your dreams, from living out the amazing life that you're living. What are some of the tips that you can suggest to the audience?
Yeah. So the first thing is to get to know what's actually going on in your head and in your heart. So start to look at the things that are holding you back, because a lot of it we're unaware of. And so to start to shine a light on those things, get really, really clear on what's actually going on inside, not what you wish was going on outside, but what's going on inside. The easiest way to do that is you could pick a goal. So back in the day, it could have been like play on stage, or let's say, have a couple $1 million businesses, or like whatever. It has to be you. So pick your goal, like a goal that excites you but also scares you a little bit. That's a great thing to start to move towards. um, Put that goal on a piece of paper, that dream, that idea, and then just start to write. Just spend a week, 5-10 minutes a day, writing about that, looking at the story that starts to emerge, because it's going to start to reveal the ways that you're viewing yourself, and within that, the limitations, the constraints with which you might not have realized you're holding yourself back. So, um, a new goal for me is, playing on a stage is one thing. I want to play on the biggest stage with my favorite band in the world. That band's the Dave Matthews Band. That's what I want more than like that scared me more than anything else. It's like, wow, that what a beautiful place to run towards. And as I started to look at that, these beliefs emerge. It's like, well, you can never do that. Who are you to think you could play on that stage with those guys, the best musicians in the world? Like they would never let you play. So all of these limiting beliefs, fears, stories started to emerge from that process of discovery. Um, but once you realize that these limiting beliefs, they really only seem to differ in magnitude. So let me explain what I mean. The story that says, well, you can't play on stage with the biggest band in the world, it occurs in the same space and the same form as the story years ago that was like, hey man, you can't play on any stage, period. It just it exists as a string of words, exists in the frame of my mind. Really, there's no difference there. The magnitude only seems to differ. When people really get that, it sort of just takes. it's the chains of limitation. We can just release them, and we're free to explore like the things that we really want. And that's my thing. That's my life. I have my goals. You don't adopt my goals. You look at what excites you, what scares you, and then you start to do the work around that. That's the first step that I would get people to step into and take.
Yeah, I love it because you're talking about these beliefs that are not true, right? If anybody knows Dave Matthews' actual history, how he created the band, you know that this guy gives people opportunities to perform and shine. I think it was a bar in North Carolina where he was literally just watching these bands come through and handpick this amazing group to come together. And I guess
Mhm.
my point to that is ask yourself some of these questions. Is that true? Right? Is what I'm saying that I can't play on with the best band in the world? Is that true?
Yeah.
No, it's not true. Why do I believe that? And how's that showing up in my life? Um, I want to ask you, and maybe there's other tools that you really use, but why music? What is it about music that has clearly been the catalyst to get you to move, man? Because that's really what I'm hearing is
Yeah.
stuck, not moving, not living my best life.
Yeah.
Music gets you to start moving, and now all of a sudden, you said started this business, that you got another one going. Like
Yeah.
all these things came from this one, how dare I say instrument, but this one
Yeah.
area
Yeah.
in music that really got you propelled forward.
Yeah. So if you look back, so about 8 years ago, my life was small in every way. So we're in the same relationship, but we're happy and content. Things are quite good now. Back in the day, we were miserable. I was working a dead end job. It was like an emotionally abusive environment. I was being walked all over. I'd had no sense of self. I couldn't put boundaries down. I didn't think I had any value, any worth. So all of those things I was chronically anxious, often depressed. Um, I was living a really sad little life, and all of that felt like it's just my life. But there was this thing that I wanted to do more than anything in the world. And it wasn't at the time, it felt insurmountable to me at that stage of life. So that's to, emphasize that there's rings of growth on our journey, coming back to the tree metaphor, right? Like that was my next step. I wanted to play music. Like that's what I wanted. And the constraints that I put myself around that, it, I think the reason that it was such a breakthrough was back then I couldn't imagine doing anything more terrifying. So that's just me. Like for someone else, it might be swimming with sharks. Like I don't know. I'm not saying go swim with sharks. I'm just saying this is unique to me. But hopefully you can find yourself in my story and just start to reflect on like what really scares you because um, that's probably most likely the thing that you've been avoiding, that you've been rationalizing yourself out of. You've been playing small. Holding yourself back, like that thing's probably your greatest opportunity. That's what I found working with people. So people that are stuck in like a business, for example, it's like, okay, great. Yeah. Like I hear what you're saying about your business, but what else is going on? Like, what do you really want to do? Like, I really want to do this thing, but like, why aren't we talking about my business? I'm like, well, we'll talk about that in a second. Like, what's that thing that you really want to do that you've pushed back? You kind of put in a box, hid it in the shelf, and you've never looked at it. And they're like, I've always really wanted to do this thing. I'm like, let's make a plan to do that. And they're like, what about my business? I'm like, trust me. And we make a plan and they go do this thing. And how they find themselves on the other side of that thing, like even incredibly successful people, like, and when I say that, I guess I mean more financially, they find a new version of themselves. They immediately surpass this previously unrecognized limitation. Um, and everything starts to ripple out because at the core of relationships, business, health, fitness, is you. So if you have a constraint in one area, like it's going to be playing out in other areas. So again, fear is just this beautiful, like it's not run away from, it's a gentle invitation. So I'm not sure, man. Is that helpful?
No, of course it's helpful. I mean, look, you can say I'm not fearful. I don't have fear, and then you'd be lying to yourself. The truth is, we all have it. Some of us do it
Inseparable.
through, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's extremely helpful to say, look, I have it, and yet I know that it's not going to control me. I
Mhm.
have these tools that allow me to get over it. And what you're really saying is everything is interconnected, right? To
Mhm.
do something you really love, that's going to help you in your personal relationship, in your business relationship, in
Mhm.
every way. When you confront these fears and show that it doesn't control you, it allows you to show up as the best version of you in every way. I want to talk about
Yeah.
mindset for a quick minute.
Yeah.
So every morning that you do show up as the best version of Luke that is here today and not the guy 8 years ago,
Yeah.
is there specific tools that you're using,
Yeah.
prompts that really help you show up with that winning mindset?
Yeah. So I got my bat belt here, man. So a couple questions that I ask myself every morning, it allows me to see the world this way is, who do I want to be today? And what do I want to see today? And that just focuses me in on like how do I want to show up? Like how do I want to show up talking with you today? Don't want to appear like meek or just like am I grounded? Do I know who I am? Am I am I confident? Just these types of things. Who do I want to be today? Confidence, man, is something that I've had to like step into and practice over and over and over because I lived a life of self-doubt. Um, so our weakness, that's like, Joker. I get to play Superman now, and or Batman, I guess, with that analogy. But I really get to step into that. So I craft and create that. Prompts through the day are like, how can this get better? Because our minds are so focused on what's going wrong and negative that I'm always prompting myself to look for all the amazing things going on in my life. Because the game is really, how can I put myself in the best position to feel as amazing as I possibly can? Because magic happens when I feel amazing. Um, so everything in my life is rooted around taking care of myself. So nutrition, sleep, the way that I exercise, work out, the walks that I go for, the way that my businesses are structured. It's all around me nurturing me, and then everything else flows from there. Um, I know what my goals are. So, business goals, relationship goals, health goals, fitness goals, and then kind of my, to say it's a hobby isn't fair anymore because I have to view myself as a professional musician. There's things I have to do that. I have to pick up my guitar and play. I have to get out and do shows. Um, so under that guise, like I know what I want, and then I've crafted identities like who is the kind of person, and this is an amazing prompt for anybody that wants to achieve a goal, um, any goal, but what kind of persons achieve that goal? And just start to write like word vomit. How do you see that person? You can lean into superheroes, people you look up to, and then notice how you see yourself. And that's the gap, that's the deficit that you need to start to bridge in the way that you talk to yourself, the way you see yourself, even the way you dress, just all sorts of things to start to merge that gap between the person that has the stuff that you want versus how you're showing up today. But it's really important to be playful and light, have fun with it, and not be in this place of like such self judgment and self deprecation, because it really all is all about helping ourselves feel the best that we can. And it's really about like back to the tree analogy. Like if you put sun on a tree and you give it water, like it grows. So that needs to be our primary focus.
Yeah, I love the prompts because who do I want to be today? That's
Yep.
saying I have a choice. I don't care if I've been shy for 44 years. Today's my 45th birthday. I'm going to be the most outgoing person in the world. It's a choice, right?
Yeah.
And I love the differentiator that you did at the end. You're like, look, I need to look at myself as a professional musician. This is where labels can serve you because this is a label that's serving what you want to do, what's important to you in your life. So I don't label yourself the stuff that's negative, the stuff that
No.
you don't want to be. But if you aspire to be a professional musician, label yourself that because that's serving you. I love that.
Yeah.
Luke, I love what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
What is on the docket for you if people want to connect with you on deep roots and really just, learn
Yeah.
more about this winning wine mindset, how you're living this amazing life that didn't used to be amazing? Where's the best place for them to connect with you, brother?
Just connect with me on Facebook. You just look up my name as it appears there, and just enter the world. You'll see the kind of things that I write and post, and see if it resonates on a level. I do give a lot of stuff away there, and the goal with my social media is really to inspire you um, to live your best life. Because everything everything just feels so much better when embodying our true self. Yeah.
Brother, you and I are in complete alignment there. I say it all the time. Let's Go Win exists to inspire people to live their best lives. So you and I are 100%
Yep.
in alignment there. Let me ask you one last question. Is there anything I didn't know enough to ask you that you want to share before we end the episode?
Wow. No, man, I thought this was a great conversation. Short, concise, to the point, and honestly, I have nothing to add. And if anybody in your audience wants to connect, grateful to do that. But more than anything, man, just grateful to connect with you and share this time together.
Brother, I appreciate you coming on, sharing your wisdom, being so vulnerable and honest about, look, my life wasn't where I wanted it to be, and now it is. So thank you for sharing that, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Um,
Guys,
Actually, I think that.
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, man. I just. I think that's so important because so many people only ever see like the after. And I want to stress too, like it's been a journey, and um, if somebody can look and say like, oh, my life can be different too, I think that's that's worth more than anything. So
I think you're absolutely right. Look, we all have journeys. We all enjoy journeys. That's the funny thing. It's not all about sunshine and rainbows, but Luke literally gave you the playbook. It starts with your mindset, you guys. It starts with taking care of you, your
yeah,
mind, your body, your soul every single day so you can show up as the very best version of you for whatever hat that you're wearing. Guys, helping you be happy, healthy, wealthy. Share this with somebody that's not living their best life right now, that deserves to live a better life. Share this episode so we can continue to push Luke's message and Let's Go Wins. I appreciate all you guys. Remember, your mindset matters. We'll talk to you soon.